Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the Dota 2 Champions League. I'm your host, TobiWan, bringing you English live stream over here on Daily Motion. I'm joined by Clairvoyance as we go into game number 2 of NaVi going up against Team Liquid. So let's jump ourselves over inside that game. It is draft time again. So Clairvoyance, man, I turn to your wisdom when it comes to decoding this draft.
Every time I hear those words, I turn to you. I think of Christina Aguilera.
Like a flower leaning towards the sun?
No. It's just a song. Have you never heard of it? You should YouTube it afterwards.
Yeah, actually, I just quoted a better song, which was from earlier times.
Oh, I see.
Snap,
okay.
Obviously too young. Fine. Fine.
That's a good thing, by the way. Thank you. I take that as a compliment. But, you know, all I can say is right now, a couple things that you can just assume from last game is that, one, I don't think Viper's going to get a mention this game. I also don't think that Alchemist will be picked because it just didn't provide to be effective. Of course, the hero itself has no changes whatsoever. But with regards to hero changes, I do want to touch upon a new patch once again, Toby. That Wisp Tether is no longer going to be a stun.
Yes.
It's going to be a 100% reduction to movement speed, attack speed. I honestly don't. I personally think that's.
Sit on it, man. Sit on it.
All right.
Patch
fine.
discussion can come at later points of the world.
All right. Save it for the later time.
We're focusing
the
on.
Lifestealer does get. Yeah. The Lifestealer does get the mention, and I think that's definitely a necessity at this point. I mean, the way that Navi plays the Lifestealer, and as you said, how you can use it as not just the sole source of damage, but as the focus point and kind of the bait, really. The worm that can take all of Liquid's attacks and that can force all of Liquid to bite on it while the rest of the team does immense damage. And speaking of immense damage, we have the hero that does the most damage in every single game that he's picked in a game. And it is the Elder Titan with the Ancestral Spirit.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for NaVi to use the combination. Because we saw it yesterday during EMS. Yes, yeah, no. It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday during the EMS. When we saw the ET Spirit and Tika TPing onto it, it was played by Alliance. And that's a brutal combination. And to run that also with Dendi, I think it's going to get nerfed.
Oh, it's got to get nerfed. You know the Ancestral Spirit blocks Clockwork hooks as well?
Actually, I didn't know that.
How's that balanced? It functions as a unit. The only thing that it doesn't do as a unit is it doesn't block camps. And if it did, obviously that would be just, I mean, what the heck? Like then you just be like, what's going on with this hero? You have an invulnerable bear for every 8 seconds. It's yeah, like I don't know. But regardless, NaVi going for a very standard set of picks. Once again, the question on my mind was anybody gonna opt for OD? Because as TI3 stats permit us to say, it was the most banned hero. It's definitely one of the most hated heroes in the current metagame because it shuts down the enemy mid so effectively, but it also forces you into a specific playstyle. And that playstyle is sit back and farm. Because OD is a statue. It doesn't move out of the lane, it doesn't walk around the map to gank, it doesn't walk through ward vision effectively.
Yep.
So unfortunately, NaVi does take the OD and it shapes up the lanes once again. As you said last game, they're not hiding their cards, but you refuted that point to me by saying that there's no cards to hide. They're all so powerful. If you have a Joker, you might as well just use it when you can because you're not going to get it any other time. And OD is definitely one of the Jokers of this metagame. And I don't say that in a negative way. It sounds like negative because it's the word Joker, but it's like a trump card. And it really just performs so many different functions, and that's why teams have such a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah. See, I find the hilarious thing is actually this combination which we saw at Starlighter, which is the ET, where you imprison up, and then you throw the Spirit, then you throw the ulti, and you actually die before you never resurface.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the thing with ET. Like, once again, it's like you either have enough damage or you have the disables to be able to do damage over time. And ET has the stuns to disengage. It has the spells that forces you to get out of areas. But it also has the damage that you cannot avoid. Like, there is no skill shot involved with Elder Titan. Honestly, it might sound negative to say it this way, but there is essentially no skill involved with this hero right now. You throw out a Spirit, you right-click a hero with the Spirit, and you win the fight. Like, that's exactly how it works. If the Spirit is on top of somebody, you can bet that that somebody, as soon as he takes a little bit of damage, it's going to be a whole whopping lot that they didn't expect. If you've ever seen something like an Elder Titan Zeus, Toby, my goodness. An entire team just poofs in the flicker of a light. It's insane.
So I'm just spamming a little bit of things back and forth with Poppy right now.
Oh gosh.
All right, so ETOD, Nyx Assassin picked up here by Team Liquid. A hero which is kind of like, I kind of do want to say it, phasing out a trend. Like, he's not anywhere near as popular as he used to be anymore. We're not seeing the live stealer combinations with him anymore. The Spy Carapace always used to be great when you're going up against Keeper of the Light, then people start picking Coddle, and now it's like, and your initiation on him, it's like Vendetta, and then you go instantly into the stun, but you gotta actually use the stun, so Vendetta just becomes an invis maneuver ability instead. And the mana burn itself doesn't really stop much, especially when you got something like an OD on your lineup. Like, at the early stages of the game, it's actually be quite good. Come in there, lay off one mana burn, and then OD has to be a little bit more cautious about how many imprisonments he throws off, but until he runs out of mana, it doesn't get to proc an Essence Aura. But if he procs an Essence Aura, your point of being there is almost useless. Even the Soul Assumption from Visage right now, I'm not quite sure about, because OD can imprison and then save you from the Soul Assumption.
Reserve time.
Yeah, there are definitely so many different tricks that you can do with this, and I think another thing with the Nyx Assassin is, yeah, he's definitely received a lot of nerfs, but it is really shifting to the metagame, because honestly, Toby, this metagame right now, we're not seeing it right now this game, but even last game was a good demonstration, and even the bans tell a good story, is that strength melee heroes dictate this metagame, because they transition, and they always have, the ones that are picked, of course, they always have the spells that their intel counterparts can do better, and they have the ability that their agility counterparts cannot do better, which is the ability to carry by doing damage and still tanking up more with less items. So we see the Animage pick up the agility that I was speaking of, and honestly, I still don't think this hero should ever work, but it's going to, if it works right now in this game for Navi, it's because of multiple factors, and one of them is that one, Animage is amazing against Prophet, but Spirit Breaker is actually the bane of an Animage's existence. It's pretty much like a direct hard counter in this current game.
Yeah, but SB can be a direct hard counter, but then you can have other heroes, like, which you kind of know are going to be coming up, just these supporters that can do pull-up and pick-ups and just throw the SB back. And if Liquid can't get these early kills off, they're so royally screwed, because like they put everything into their early game now. They got Timbersaw, Animage, OD, ET from Navi. If this game goes late, like past 35 to 40 minutes, Liquid must have a crap ton of farm, or at least one ranks down for Prophet to split push more.
Yeah,
that's the only chance I'm feeling for it.
Is that Animage late game, he seems very devastating, but once again, it's due to the fact that the hero can farm incredibly fast. In terms of damage, dishing out the damage output, it's like, it's not always the most superb. It's just the blink ability allows him to jump on you, and then all of a sudden 1 a.m. becomes 3 a.m. and all your mana disappears and you pop. But aside from that kind of silly combo, Animage can be fought and fended off in the late game, and it's I think it is definitely one of the myths of Dota that Animage is just this super scary late game carry that's going to destroy your team. And it's more like it's a pick that, because of that stigma, you can force the enemy to try and gank you up and make mistakes, and you can just counter gank them up, and all of a sudden that's why you snowball as that hero. But I think the other reason why this AM is so good here is because with OD, you can almost secure a victory for your mid lane. Like 100% with OD right now. And that's the problem. Because if you can't push towers against an Animage, you're staying on even ground with him. And OD is just one of those heroes that'll force you to stay off the tower because he'll beat your mid laner. So yeah, it's really scary right now. Navi going for the similar combo again with the Elder Titan and Timbersaw. Once again, not lacking any department of damage, but certainly not the best combination of disables coming out for them, whereas Liquid, I feel like they do most certainly have an abundance coming out from the Visage Bats, and even the Sprout's going to play a factor against some of these heroes. But it's gonna be interesting to see here, because they have the last pick right now coming up in 10 seconds since they have 1 second left on their reserve time. And it needs to be something, I feel like a Luna would be really powerful here.
Actually, Luna wouldn't be a bad one. It was actually brought up by our wonderful statsman, Nahaz. In fact, you're 100% on the money as one of TC's most successful heroes.
I do want to say one thing. Luna, if you build her appropriately, and honestly, I say appropriately, but it's like a very standard build. If you build Luna in a standard fashion with the Helm of Dominator, Treads, and Yasha, she can actually farm faster than an Animage. And I kid you not, like, it's just straight up from minute 1 to minute 30, if you have a free farming Luna, completely free farm, versus a completely free farm Animage, the Luna will farm faster. Statistically, I'm not sure if I can prove it, but it's just the reality and how you can do it. Because
I want
Luna,
a time video from you, man, with Luna on one screen.
Well, you know what it is
another.
within a Dota game too is that Luna can actually fight, and the thing is you can't just gank up a Luna like with a random bounty hunter wandering into jungle. You won't find the Luna sitting there with 400 HP all the time. Whereas an Animage, they do tend to get low because most of the time if you get really greedy and just rush Battle Fury, you don't have the treads to attack fast enough, and your region's not good enough of an upkeep, which is why Tranquil Boots comes into the play. But even Tranquils in the jungle right now, it's not that effective because some jungle creeps can just shut it off, along with the fact that Tranquils did get nerfed. So yeah, I can't give you a time video, unfortunately, but it is.
Screenshot or it doesn't happen, man. Screenshot or it doesn't happen.
Oh, come on, Toby. Don't be like that.
I got to present this to the community, man.
You got to trust me on this one. Come on, man.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Just my track record.
It's like trusting an anti-mage to not farm and fight instead. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it is Havos. See what he did last game, right? You know, he decided to hit towers instead of hit enemy fountain.
Objective-based player, man. Objective-based player.
He's also a 4.
Yeah. So let's run through our lineup very quickly. So we'll have a safe lane from a Vorst, Mr. Blink level 1, so we can hunt down this Treant, who will actually escape him. No, he doesn't. He was so timing out just then. We'll have a safe lane of Vorst, anti-mage farmer. Puppy will be inside of his own jungle. Kuro's here as the Elder Titan as well. They're trying to keep the Prophet as far away as possible, and that is going to be the offlane Quoitva. Nature's Prophet, always a big fan of his Prophet with the early phase boots harassment. He's not afraid to fight on the offlane. Then looking towards the middle lane, we've got Dendi OD going up against Bulbous Nyx Assassin in the middle lane. And that leaves Funnick as our last one. The top lane, Timbersaw, and he'll be battling up against both Fluff and Stuff as well as Way Too Sexy, who is the Spirit Breaker and the Visage respectively. And that leaves safe lane farmer, TC, as the Nova Luna on the top lane.
And Bobo's going to be really upset with this. He missed his block, and that creep's going to go on forward to the OD. If you give OD heal positioning against when you're a melee hero, it is just the worst thing to deal with because he'll just right-click you down to Oblivion. But now here comes the Astral and the
body block it. Ah! Sorry, I'm watching the battle for the spawn blocks. And so far, 2 of the spawns just managed to get blocked. But Puppy converted one of the Treants and then tried to body block with his own body as well as the Treant. The other Treant that has slightly gone too far from Quoitva.
So Quoitva looks like he'll be effectively shut down in this lane. With Nature's Prophet, if you can't secure anything with regards to creeps in the first rotation of Treants, you really can't do anything else. Like he's just gonna get zoned out here, and he should really just rotate to the jungle as fast as he can. But I guess because the wave is pushing a little bit due to his rotation, so he found some sort of success, and I guess that's what he's waiting for, the wave to die, and once he gets this double wave, he'll probably rotate back into the jungle right away.
Yeah. If you're right, if this wave didn't come here, he would have just bailed anyway, because he popped a Clarity and had it instantly cancelled by this hasted up Chen. Ran up to the tier 1 tower, so after he popped the Clarity, it was only like a couple of seconds after that, it got stopped already. So life became a lot harder. Something which is also quite hard at the moment is Funnick on this top lane. Like, he's walking around with reactive armor, doesn't have his level 2, so there's no level up in Timber Chain to try and escape. When you got Fluff and Stuff, he went first level bash, like not even charge. He went first level into the greater bash, beyond everything else. It's like he will not be involved in the map until he hits his level 2, and the rest of his team must accept this fact. While Luna still copying a lot of damage on that top lane.
Yeah.
Saw her drop.
This is what happens. She really needs her supports to rotate and give her some tangles right now because she can't farm like this right now. Not only just the Timbersaw's presence threatening death, but it's just the fact that when you're so low HP, there's so much movement you can do around creeps that can just screw your CSing under the tower, for example. But Luna definitely one of the better ones at that because of her base damage. So I think she just needs some tangles rotating and Fluff. And yeah, there's the Passover.
Yeah, Fluff hands him. Also,
now, I do want to say this mid lane matchup is always really interesting to see. It's basically a mana burn versus a mana burn if you think about it, because OD steals Int. And Nyx Assassin eventually gets it back, which is why it's annoying for the OD, because he really wants to Astral you for that extra damage. But regardless, Nyx is a melee hero, and he is limited to his devices, therefore, so his CSing will always be behind. But this is essentially one of the things.
We got a charge over on the Timbersaw, who changed himself over to the secret shop. He's actually locked in a corner there. They can't reach him, and he can't reach them.
Team. Yeah. That's a funny situation. I feel like Way 2 could have actually just began right-clicking a bit just to scare him a little. But looks like they're not going to approach it because it is risky under the tower.
Yeah, I think that would have been the major thing he was worried about. Take aggro from the tower as an early level Visage. Well, you don't really have much more to play with. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Denny's also not looking too healthy here in the mid lane. Wondering how long until he gets those tranquil boots out to him.
I think he's just going to go for a bottle, actually.
Really?
Yeah, even last game on the Evoker, I was kind of surprised. But Dendi knows the effectiveness of bottle crowing and the power of it. Like, if your enemy's bottle crowing, like what Bobo's doing right now, sometimes you just have to bottle crow. And especially with OD, like what you do is you bottle twice, and you quickly get the Astral Imprisonment off, and then you send your bottle back, and you kind of win because you take away the mana. And yeah, he's sending the bottle out to him right now.
Yeah, I just thought he would have gone Tranquils because he went the boots first. Like, he would have, like, rushed up the bottle if you're really wanting to do it as an OD. But maybe he still wanted to get a little bit more of a feeling if the mana burn was going to be that much of a nuisance to him, which in this case
you know what it also is? It's the mana burn is definitely an issue, but at the same time, remember that you're facing up against a Spirit Breaker and a Nyx Assassin. Those heroes can very well gank up an OD really easily, especially if the OD has no mana. So I think the boots was kind of like a safety approach to it. And meanwhile at the mid, yeah, I saw the Centaur stun on Puppey. That's gonna be a little bit annoying for Bobo.
It actually ran up top and denied off the rune. If I'm not mistaken.
Which is why he had the bottle crow. Interesting.
Yeah. Because I saw Puppey check the bottom rune himself and he had the Centaur up on the top. So that's the reason why Bolt was sending his bottle back and forth. But the Centaur's now trying to add a bit more of a buffer to this mid. And he just grabs a new creep, it passes over, and there's no way the Bulba can get an advantage over a Centaur, because by the time he gets near enough to kill it off, Puppey just gets himself a new one.
Yeah. That's just the frustration of playing versus a Puppey or an Ake Chen. These players, they know how to play the Chen because they win the lanes for their respective teammates. And look at Puppey right now. I'm not sure if he's going to try to farm neutrals with this one. It looks like he is.
Should look towards mid lane.
There is, it is, the triple man gank.
There's the charge coming in. There's already that first one out from Bulba, and Denny imprisoned at the wrong target. If he took himself out for this one, he would have been fine. Puppey's trying to kill off Koifa before he's able to retreat out of here. Unable to do so, though. So it becomes a 1-for-1 with Way 2 on 24 life points. What you give for a Sunstrike right now. And then Dendy, yeah. I think he realized his decision once he realized Fluff and stuff was coming in.
Yeah. Dendy dropping the smiley face. He does this once every little while to express a little bit of his frustration and kind of just mock the enemy for what happened. But these guys are all friends with each other, so just friendly banter going on. But this is when Nyx Assassin was played often at the mid lane. This was what Nyx was for. It's the fact that you can take away mana, and usually mana becomes an essence, like a necessity for most heroes to escape or stay alive. And in the case of OD, you need the Astral Imprisonment. And then what you would do is you would mana burn them down so low that they don't have anything, and then you would just stun them up while somebody else is coming in. And Nature's Prophet actually is the best candidate for one of these mid lane ganks, which is why we just saw that rotation coming out. And it's a great way of shutting down OD too, because although OD is still getting CS, 29 to 22 is a lot in terms of numbers, but when you have a death to your name, it changes your entire farm. Like right now, he could have had treads if he hadn't died, because he wouldn't have followed the TP, he wouldn't have missed the extra CS and all that kind of jazz. It's a very big deal.
Puppey getting a little bit annoyed about the fact he just lost a Haster in the bottom. Let's checking out to see where the ward was for the Dire side, but the Dire side ward is over in front of the Rosh pit for the moment. Ancestral Spirit spam on the bottom lane against Way Too Sexy. He gets a little bit of mana burned off him, but also uses Grave Chill himself.
I think it was nice what Havos did. Of course, they gave the creep wave to him, but at this point now, Havos knows he can probably just blink up with the Ancestral Spirit and probably right-click Way 2 down if he gets too aggressive. He does have the Mana Void leveled up, and I do also want to point out that I like what I'm seeing on Havos. This item build that any mages do on the free farm lane these days with the rushing Battle Fury, it's really not that effective, because with Treads and Quelling Blade, you can actually farm at the exact same rate, because the average time for a really good Battle Fury and Treads timing is about 12 to 13 minutes. And if you complete free farm, regardless of which item you get first, you will accomplish the same thing.
Well, we get ourselves rather passive starts to these games, man. Rather passive starts to these games. 1-1. We'll give an extra couple of minutes, then we're good to go. ET Spirit, again, you got that combination. If Denny had an ultimate right now, Bulba wouldn't have come up from that one alive.
No, unfortunately. Actually, that's a really good point too. I saw S4 do this yesterday as well, and I was talking with Bulba on it while we were watching the match. Why these OD players don't get Eclipse at level 6, it's kind of mind-boggling, because OD at level 6 can solo kill almost any heroes at the mid lane with level 6 ultimate. But top lane showing a lot of aggression, and Funnick with the bottle, just healing himself up with the level 2 reactive armor as well. and Liquid trying to zone him out, but this is no kill attempt.
Yeah, they can't kill off Funnick. Actually, to the OD in the middle lane, see, I'm kind of a bit more of a fan of the Astral Imprisonment and 4 points Essence Aura, because you need to be able to steal a lot of intelligence, and it's that big difference that just buffs up your Sanity's Eclipse. So when you get that, you want to make sure when you hit the hardest you possibly can. Because your ulti, when the first time you're going to trigger it off, if it doesn't get a kill, then you've just wasted, what, how long?
Yeah, it's a lot of mana indeed. But
it's not just the mana, it's a 160 seconds cooldown consistent the entire way through. So if you don't get a kill with it, you may as well have had that one extra point up in the Essence Aura and improve your chances of just lane controlling more. If you can't get the kill, why do it?
I see it as a different approach, but I'm going to have to hold that thought because there is a charge coming in.
Imprison yourself this time. Nope, he got the SB. He held the SB out. There's still Bulba's stun, which will connect. And Denny's already used his stick charges, and now Visage Soul Assumption. A lot of damage to be dished out, while the Tier 1 tower will go down the bottom lane at the same time.
Yep. So the Tier 1 tower, as you said, going down. Havos gets the kill, so that's going to be a hefty sum of gold for his Battle Fury, of which a couple pieces are coming in right now, the Claymore in respect. But the way I see the OD approach at mid is like, if you actually get the Sanity's Eclipse, it is for the kill. And most of the time if you get it, because of the ease of execution, it is going to get the kill. And of course if it doesn't, it kind of hurts you. But considering that you do get the kill, which is the reason you get the spell in the first place, then you would actually get the levels from getting that kill to be able to skill up your heroes levels more, and you'd snowball from that scenario. But hold that thought at the bottom lane, Liquid, double TP's coming in. Yeah,
Bulba got one stun over to Koro, and Koro not really a lot of life points to play around with here. Never even got the Spirit off, and TC low on life, and Avos, you know what he wants. Poppy's going to go down right now, but Avos just wants TC's life. Throws the ulti out, and one last right click. I didn't believe he had that range on him, but still able to get the connection. SB's charging in, and Avos, well, there goes Fluff. Bounced into him, actually pushes him down the cliff, and then he jumps into the middle of the dire creep wave. He'll die to this.
Die to the creep wave?
Prophet's TPing in. One last right click from Quotva. Ensures the kill. And again, we see Liquid ahead in kills. 5-2, but again, they're behind in experience and gold.
Yeah. It really is costing Liquid a lot in these, and Navi's just getting the better end the whole way. So Dendi at the mid lane now, 0-2, but it looks like he's going to be rushing up the 4-staff, being aware of his situation, saying, if I just stay alive to all these ganks, I might be able to carry. And I think it is the right approach. So he's finally picked up the Sanity's Eclipse at level 8. Of course, he hasn't gotten a kill with it yet, but it's because the majority of the action has been at the bottom for the last 2 minutes, whereas the OD was just playing catch-up from behind. And he's able to catch up on CS too, because sitting at 58 now, where 5 minutes ago he was only at half of that. I guess it's logical.
Fluff just made a huge run across the map. Went through like 3 of the camps and aggroed them up. Delivered damage. Even took one of the small little saddles on the last run. Bulba, you can see free gold. Stuns up both the Wild Wing as well as Puppy, so he gets a little bit more than what he thought he was going to get with that haste rune. While
Funnick.
on top lane, Funnick, you're right, being initiated on, and then Fluff and stuff, who cracked his level 6 at the 3-point smash. TC also dropped the Eclipse for that kill too. They really wanted to ensure that the death of the Timbersaw before he chained.
Hey man, better safe than sorry, right?
Agreed.
So TC, his item build right now is looking to be one of those item builds that I say is actually good enough to farm better than an Animage. And right now, the CS is higher for Havos, and I do imagine the net worth as well, because he did get the kill on TC earlier, along with the fact that he got a tower. But I still do believe, yeah, with both Quotva and Quotva and the Prophet, as well as Luna, I do believe that they have the resources to fend off the AM at the late game stages, if it goes to that point. It's just the biggest fear, once again, is that OD, it prevents the mid tower from going down. And of course, both towers at the mid lane are relatively high in terms of HP. But it's just that Nyx Assassin at the mid lane is not going to do anything more than ganking at this point. So I think Dendi will have free reign over time, and he will transition into becoming stronger, depending on his item choices.
Well. Havos. I can't wait for someone to try and stop this man from doing what he's doing. Like, more than what we've seen. The level of commitment. Now we get Fluff smoked up. We get Nyx Assassin also inside that smoke. He'll have Vendetta as an option. In fact, now does Trigger as he goes up towards the high ground. They want Havos. They've got to stop him from farming at some point. And there's your SP charge. Puppy's on the other side. A troll trap not fast enough. He got bumped back by everybody. And now Havos, Hand of God. Is Puppy going to try and send him back? Not enough time. Visage's nuke is going to do a lot of damage, but already at the same time, Kuro comes in. ET hits, and look at that damage from him. Poppy's the one that gets the double kill out of all of this. Kuro came in with a bonus 84 damage, swinging in hard. They got Nyx, they got the SP, but they did lose the anti-mage for it.
Yeah, that was a weird exchange. I'm not sure who that was worth better for, because that AM kill was such a high priority that even putting your Nyx into that situation was okay. But at the same time, I feel like it would just be better if they gank up Dendi more. Anti-mage is a hero that even if you gank up like this, you will catch up so long as your towers are up, because your jungle is safe, especially with Puppy Chen there and having presence. But OD is not a hero that can catch up. And I honestly think that OD, if they gank up the OD a couple more times, this OD will be completely shut down, which is one of the reasons why he used to not get picked, is that
Kuro's getting chased. There's no ulti from Flop Stop. He's got to give himself a second bash right now. And the movement speed, the soul assumption. He's got stick charge, he's got the meg charge, and does get thrown back a little bit by the bash of Fluff and stuff. But now way too sexy. Troll trapped up, nuke down by Chen. Poppy turns it around, just coming at the right time with that meg charge.
Yeah, that turnaround was really, really big. It's just I guess the lack of the RNG bash coming in quicker, but also that moment of not committing and then that moment of hesitation where both the Visage and the SP kind of wander around allowed Puppy to get that extra kill. But speaking of kills, Funny at the top lane is in danger.
Yep, DD hit already with the Vendetta, and then a Lucent Beam from TC to kill Security, even though Quaitfa was able to hold him in position.
That was a really big kill, Toby, because now this is the second tower going down.
Yep. I don't know if there is enough counter push. Like Kuro, he's not going to throw the ulti out to hold the tower, but just a spirit spam at least. Goes through the creep wave, so takes care of most of its life points as well.
Yeah, I did forget about the Titan. I forgot what that hero does to pushes. Drops one spell and completely fends it off because everything dies.
123 bonus damage when he comes out as well.
Unfortunately for Liquid, what could have been a second tower and a really big advantage, that extra step towards Roshan really, negated by Kuroki's presence at the top lane. That's quite unfortunate. I think that tower kill right there would have been really huge to follow up the Timbersaw kill.
Yep. And they need to get these towers down, especially that tier 1 tower in bottom lane, because Avors has finished up his Battle Fury. Now, this is a 15 minutes in with Treads and as well as the Quelling Blade. So it's not the most fantastic Battle Fury we've ever seen by him. But it's still up. And now we're going to see who does farm faster. And you're right, the net worth is higher for Luna right now. And that's with her farm. She got 211. And so sitting at 7,300 net worth and a bit more. Charge coming middle lane. Dendi doesn't have imprisonment. Doesn't have 4-star. Throws the ulti down as the last thing he's got.
Oh, that kill was like, honestly, that's one of those things that I see as a game
man. ET ulti, snaps Bulba back in again, into the Shark Room. He was still in range of the tier 1 tower, so there's no way he's going to survive through that. He realized he couldn't get to the to his side, the dire side of that ulti. So it becomes a 1-1 trade, even though it's a better trade, really, for Liquid.
For sure, for sure. And honestly, that kill right there, if Liquid were able to escape somehow, that would have been a real game-defining kill, in my opinion. And we were talking about the net worth. As expected, I guess, TC's net worth is most certainly higher. He does have one less death, as well as a kill to his name more than Havos. Hold that thought. Fluff and stuff at the top lane, doing another long run.
Yeah, he's running into the middle lane. The charge is actually over on the Wild Wings. It's not even, in fact, on a hero. He's going to charge through, bash down Puppy. His ulti's not available right now, and Avors jumps in. Fluff and stuff is so damn low. The Urn charge will, in fact, tick him out, while the AM ulti takes care of the Prof at the back end of play. Bulba comes out of imprisonment, into the stomp by Kuro, and while he does get a little bit stunned up because of the Spy Carapace, it's slowed up Bulba. Sentry wards are down. One more orb, second orb, but Bulba just out of range of the vision. There's a couple of familiars in this fight as well, and Denny's mopping them up. And the buyback by the Prophet to throw the ulti out. I think he thought there was going to be enough damage there, but now he didn't realize it's still, he's going to realize that Sentry Ward is still underneath the tower.
Yeah, that was amazing play by Puppy, but at the same time, a mistake coming out of Quaitfa. And that's going to cost him, because TC got baited into that situation, losing his life there while the enemy is just farming.
And he threw the ulti as well.
Yeah, not the best scenario for Liquid by any stretch. And now Fluff and Stuff is trying to make something happen, but he realizes there's no way he can walk into those 3 heroes right now. Yeah,
he's hoping that Way Too Sexy will give enough damage, but he doesn't need enough mana for a soul assumption right now. And Denny initiates it again. The ET ult is going to be there, and now snap the SB back in again, even though his ulti did pop. And allowed him to escape a little bit of it. Navi's getting kill after kill as Liquid seems to be willing to let it happen.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, they just keep getting caught out, and it's somewhat reminiscent of last game, really, because Liquid were getting the early game kills, and they really thought, like, they went for the objectives and they secured them. Of course, NaVi, with really, really good positioning and a little bit of luck on their side, were able to just return with counter kills, but they were behind. All of a sudden, I don't get the feeling that they are behind in terms of kills anymore. The goal graph has been in favor of them the entire game, so has the EXP, because they've been just farming and playing the safer side of the game. But also, Liquid just losing out too much in these exchanges as a whole. Now Fluff is charging bottom, but Puppey is in the vicinity.
They've got Funnick.
Oh, yeah,
they've got Funnick. Even if Puppey is near him, they're still not going to get him in time. And this will now be the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, which is also a very important thing for Liquid, because they're about to lose their top tower.
Yeah.
And that means they're shutting down the farm area for TC. Also known as TC, Mr. 4 Glaives and 3 Luna. didn't want to level up his blessing before he got the ultimate amount of glaives.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's okay. Normally 3 targets should suffice, but I guess if you like plan to stack ancients and stuff. Speaking of which, though, he has the creep that he's dominated, but it's not going to the ancient area.
No, it's been stacking up this camp. It's right in front of right now. He just went up there before.
Has he cleared it already? Because
yeah,
I haven't seen it peak. Oh, okay.
He just took a triple stack about 30 seconds ago.
I see. All right, so that's fine then. Although I do think Ancients would have been better. I guess he was kind of fearful that Animage can steal it.
Yeah.
But another thing with Animage, though, is that he actually can steal an Ancient stack, depending on the creeps as well. Like, unless he has a Mana Style or a Vlad's, the Ancients actually kill the AM. So, I think it would have been fine if they just warded up the area.
Oh, Timber Chain! Funnick, way too aggressive. He's at least able to cut through the trees a little bit, but Nyx Assassin will get that kill. And now they will push into the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Same time NaVi's doing the same to the mid.
Yeah. And so far, Liquid's global rotations proving to be worthwhile. Puppey, he's under the guise of the smoke, but he's going to walk directly into the vision of another hero, or he's going to walk right by a sentry, but I don't think anybody's going to notice that because it doesn't really show on the minimap.
Yeah.
And he actually counters it because he has a gem. So that means that ward inside the enemy jungle, a nicely placed ward, is soon to be gone.
And the rest of Liquid have to bail out of here. Now you got a Spirit that's scouting out for them all, but everyone's TP back. The only thing that's left behind is going to be the Familiars, which can be dragged back at a later point. They're hanging around here because they want to keep that pressure on the tier 2 tower, which is very, very low. Like NaVi were unable to take that mid tower because the Prophet Ultimate popped and got rid of a lot of the life points, the creep wave that was in there. Koitva, he might be a bit of a twit here to Horvorst. In fact, yeah, he'll just start attacking him, but Horvorst already has blink off cooldown. And looks like Funnick may even give him a bottle charge as well.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think Fluff is standing right in ward vision, and he wasn't even facing the direction, so I'm not sure what the plan there was. I thought, oh, okay, he wanted to counter ward. That's why he didn't charge a Volst.
And you can almost see Horvorst. He didn't want the Familiars. It's one thing which we kind of gave props to like the Invoker before. The ability to kill off those Familiar birds very quickly. But
yeah.
OD is also very similar to that.
Oh yeah, with the pure damage orbs, you can just orb them down with 2 shots most of the time. Yep. And Dendi, going for an extremely aggressive OD build. I've always just noticed this weird thing with OD is that if you rush a big item like Sheepstick, sometimes it works in your favor. Like if you have like phenomenal positioning, all of a sudden you get the sheep on the perfect target and you win the fight. But sometimes not getting that BKB really costs you. And Toby, right now I'm looking at Liquid's lineup. Every single one of them has one way or another to damage the OD up a lot without a BKB. So I really feel like a BKB would have been the wiser decision, but this is Dendi.
Hand of God, dead in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
They just charge him in. They had a couple of extra stuns. They used Vendetta to initiate. In the meantime, too, they're using the ET Spirit to de-ward with Puppey's gem.
Oh, the joys that Spirit can give you.
Just see everything. Apart from the regeneration room, which is currently on bottom lane, which Bulb will be very, very happy to put inside of his bottle.
Oh, I think they're going to be happy to find the Chen coming up. Oh, Puppey wisely sending the creeps in first. Perfect positioning. Is NaVi going to take this?
Yeah, he will. They throw the ET ulti out. OD ulti as well. Way too sexy. Just far enough away he doesn't take damage from this. Resummons up a new set of Familiars. The Urn Charge is taking him down. The Shark will help to go through him. And then TC in with the Eclipse. And all just burns directly towards the NaVi lineup as he continues to attack Kuro. Looking to TP out this one. It looks like there's no extra stuns. The Gem of Puppey is still on the deck here. And Funnick steals it and Timber Chains himself away. Lucent Beam stuns him just on the end of his Timber Chain. But he has a Haste Rune already bolted up, which he used. and runs back out to safety with the gem in hand.
Alright, I've seen that exact same scenario before. It was actually in my game against EG as well, where an Elder Titan lands a perfect stomp, and somebody wakes up all the targets that are stomped before the Elder Titan ultimate hits. And in this situation, unfortunately, Puppy decided to use the Storm on his Wild Wing, and it woke up all the targets. So the Elder Titan ultimate hit nobody. Whereas if that Elder Titan ultimate hit 2 to 3 targets that it would have just won Navi the fight. That was an extremely game-changing moment, because now that not only cost them a whole bunch of heroes on their side of the map, it also cost them the Roshan.
Yeah.
That was a game-changing fight right there, Toby. I think Navi had that from the start, but that miscoordination right there cost them big.
And now they're going to work their way back into it. But with Nagus the Immortal up on that Luna, it was a full mana style and 2100 gold, already with the Helm of the Dominator for lifesteal. She's got a double stack of creeps right now. And just remembering to bring, you realize it's a little bit too late. It's going to use the Satyr Shockwave, in fact, to pull the creep wave up. But TC moves up, going to take a triple stack of creeps. Interested to see what he's going to go next. Like, do we just look to finish up the Satanic and we get this really hard to kill Luna? Or do we get the Butterfly up and running? Do we look?
I actually think he wants the BKB, honestly.
I don't know. In this?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Because the BKB will allow him to push. And if he gets caught in a sticky situation where, say, something like Dendi puts him under, and of course he gets they do the Astral ET wombo combo on him, then he might be in trouble where he has to stay alive. But hold that thought, speaking of trouble, way too sexy, out of position.
Yep. Easy kill for Dendi. Couple of orbs, Puppy, and in fact they're also going to pick up one of the familiars as well.
A nice return.
Just almost too easy. And Denny's almost got his side device up and running. Yeah.
Once again, the deal-breaking item, of course. Initiate with it, you might win the fight, but get caught out once, and I mean, there is a Nyx Assassin, right? So it's not really difficult to get caught out. Nyx Assassin, Prophet, and Spirit Breaker. A Prophet with an Orchid. This, in my opinion, man, this really would have been a perfect BKB game. It would have just shut down so many things that Liquid would have thrown at you. And of course, BKB does have its limited functions exclusive to the team fight. But he's going to have to be extra careful with that cheap stick now.
We got smoke up for an SB, possibly the one hero that never ever would use smoke because he charges halfway across the map. If you see him coming, or not inside the smoke, it's Bulba. Also going to find nobody up here on the top. Moving into the Radiant shop. If he came to some like 30 seconds earlier, he may have found that courier that was behind the Void Stone for Dendi, which is now going to fly out to the bottom lane because he has got the money for the full side device.
Well, I guess we've been noticing the overall effects of what a Nyx Assassin has been giving this game with regard to the stuns and so on and so forth. But I haven't really noticed it that he's able to move around the map so freely because he knows that there's only a Chen with the gem. And usually when teams buy gems, they just kind of just drop the sentry from their agenda. So it'll be a tower for tower rotation, or what seemed to be that. But Dendi at the top lane.
He can't catch up to him in time. As you said, like there's no gem on him. Now there's a charge going down to Horvost. SB is going to go in a very, very long way here. Bounces through, finding through the Chen army, and a very, very long way to Horvost, but there is so deep in right now. Fluff and Stuff taking way too much damage. Kuro's throwing the ulti out too, which Quaver, as well as Bubble, walk into. Quaver able to evade it at the last moment. Timber Chain, that was a long one. The Sprout unable to intercept him halfway through it all. Sharkram slows him down, buys himself a little bit more time for yet again another Timber Chain. And more time to bottle up Kuro. Nyx Assassin can start go on him, but he needs to also get these familiar drops on him, but they don't have another stun. They just use that damage instead. 4-star Bulba in range of the tier 2 tower. Being a very over-aggressive Nyx Assassin, but paying off for Team Liquid. They don't lose the Aegis, and they still take a very good fight.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at his ratio in terms of numbers right now, he's involved in 14 of the 16 kills of this game. So he's definitely making the plays for his team that he needs to. But it was a very, very unfortunate scenario, I gotta say, because Fluff and Stuff expected 1 a.m. when it was actually 3 a.m. And what ended up happening was as soon as his charge had connected, 3 a.m. decided to burn all of his mana so he couldn't follow it up with a nice Nether Strike. And that cost them an entire Anti-Mage kill, and that was so big also. It's just amazing how the intricacies of this game, like, they all have a part in this game so far.
Prophet is going to be used to help push out the rest of the Liquid lanes as TC leaves a couple of himself behind. While Timbersaw A Timbersaw who doesn't have under 8 charges. It's always a good thing when you're playing a Timbersaw. They have 9 charges up on Funnick instead.
Did I tell you about that story when I was watching a scrim? And I won't mention names, but one of the Storm Spirits actually bought a Bloodstone after the Orchid, and he went from 8 to 0 charges. Yeah, I don't know. That was a sight to behold. I think it's very rare you see something like that. But regardless, Havost very close to his heart now, and TC has completed his next item, which he has opted for the BKB. I do imagine a Butterfly coming out of this next, because Butterfly is such a great item against Anti-Mage, and AM doesn't really want to get forced into an MKB. It's not a bad item, but there's just so many items that can help his illusions better, such as Heart, Butterfly, AC even for the team, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Knowing Anti-Mage is also finishing up a Heart, it's going to prompt TC to try and get him into something like... And then again, like if also finish up this Heart, then he'll go Monkey King Bar, like straight after. If he sees anything along the lines of a Butterfly coming up on TC, he'll change. But then again, no, he doesn't have to. He doesn't need a Monkey King Bar because you've still got the Scythe of Vice up on Dendi. And with that Scythe of Vice, you remove the evasion chance anyway.
I think they should actually worry about the BKB a little more, because considering that if TC does get the BKB off before, but hold that thought, the Scythe of Vice
also with the Spirit in front, but the follow-up wasn't fast enough. Like
no, you know what it is? I think they noticed that it was the Aegis and they just didn't want to bother with it.
I doubt that. Like it's
because then he could have committed. He could have dropped an ultimate. He could have done Astral, whatever. But yeah,
he's waiting for flop and stuff. He's waiting for that charge in from the SP. That one hero that's going to be pushing him back and forward. Maybe try and force out the BKB from TC instead, which didn't happen. While Quoifer takes this bottom tower, Funnick might look to try and hold Quoifer off himself, but then Quoifer, Mr. Orchid, and now there's no movement speed here for Timbersaw, but with 16 reactive armor charges up, the chance of him getting the kill over on Funnick is very, very minimal, but he's committing to it while up on the top lane. We've got a Vorce jumping in way too sexy with the 3 anti-mages on top of that one. TC, BKB, he wants to trigger off the Eclipse, but there's a lot of Centaurs here. SB, oldies in, the stun over on Dini 2, Kuro with an Elder Titan split, buying a little bit of extra space. OD, in fact, imprisons himself up, so Kuro, Dini stays out of this fight for the moment while Kuro has to tank it all up, and TC just keeps throwing out the deeps. Anti-Mage back in the fight. He's got no mana void. The Centaur stomps and Funnick actually BT's in on top of Puppy Centaurs, who got the extra stun to hold way too sexy in position, allowing a Vorce as well as Funnick now to go on a little bit of a chase. A Vorce juked around the tree line. There's a familiar stomp out as well. The Grave Chill, he wants to blink up. Now he's getting body blocked up by Puppy Centaurs as well. Dives in on way too sexy. Timber chain up. Nowhere to really hide. The gems on the deck too, so Funnick will grab 1 for each eye. And Liquid have 4 heroes on the sidelines.
So I don't know if this was calculated by Navi. I really don't. Looking at the fight, it seemed like a complete mess from both ends, but basically TC's Aegis actually expired during that fight, or just before. And with that kill that Havos was able to secure at the end there, that TC not coming back into that fight just means that, yeah, this tower's going to go down and all of a sudden the enemy is going to get bigger. But hold that thought, Koipa.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit too aggressive, I think.
Nah, he's okay, because Flubber stuff just charges in. He knew he could take out Funnick, stop his maneuverability. What's a Vort's going to do? Pop a whole lot of illusions and burn off the mana? That's great, but the damage has already been dealt.
Yeah, I was scared for a second because I did not anticipate Bubba's rotation. I did think Furing was going to come in, but I thought AM would have been able to turn on that. But also another thing, once again, is that Fluff itself, carrying an excess of gems, but not enough mana because Havost's 3 AM keeps burning his mana before he can follow it up with a charge into a Nether Strike combination. So this has got to be really frustrating for him, and he has finally dropped his first gem.
He only grabbed them both up because he dragged it from Funnick. Yep. When Funnick died, obviously they both had to drop down then. But Funnick at least now has himself some plate mail. So that's not too bad for him. He'll drop a stick if he needs to pick up the 2 gems later on. But a Vorst, free gold of trees coming his way. And with a full heart and 3,000 gold up on him, he is a very, very fat AM. Still the highest net worth, but being tailed very closely by both the Luna, who is at 18,000, and the 18.6k of the Nature's Prophet. And then you hit the OD at 10.6k with the Timbersaw at 10.2. Yeah.
I did want to say it earlier at one point, is that one of the reasons why Luna hasn't been getting more farm is actually because he's sharing the jungle with the Prophet. So it is slightly difficult, especially when Prophet ultimates, he pushes out all the lanes. But it is a worthwhile investment into Koipa, because looking at his items, Toby, he gets a sheep off on that anime. It's just going to be so critical in the fight, just as how Puppy's been landing his stuns, or Dendy's been able to drop his cheap stick. But it looks like it might be a 5v5 engagement. It looks like Navi with the smoke, with the guise of it, they want to commit, but Hovost is sitting back and forth, making it look ambiguous.
Yeah. AKA bait, peoples. Bait. Top lane, though, the trees of Nature's Prophet, they push out a little bit too far now. They're attacking on the tier 3 tower, trying to fight it up and keep that catapult alive as long as possible. And Navi's push, bait, didn't work. So they may have to back themselves up, but they don't want to because Roshan spawns up in about 5 seconds' time. And that's why Koifa, he does these kind of things. Throws out the Prophet ulti, helps to push in through, and with Timbersaw coming back, there's another TP coming out from Dendy. So they both come back here to try and fight. Timber chain up, they will not find Koifa. And then instantly Liquid are going to jump themselves into this pit.
Yeah, the oldest trick in the book with Nature's Prophet. It happens every single time in dire to Radiant situation where lanes are pushed out in specific manners and towers are down in specific sequences. The Nature's Prophet, he's just going to keep himself here. Or he's actually going to TP just to help the Rosh's situation.
May as
but
well
he
come
could have
back.
kept himself, and regardless, yeah. Just focus, force the enemy to focus attention elsewhere, and that was just a free Aegis going out in favor of Liquid. TC looks like he's going to be building into the Butterfly. With Aegis and Butterfly, I'm not even sure if Navi can fight that at this point, because Hovost is still waiting on his next item, and it's going to be big. It's got to be a game changer. I do believe that MKB is something that he's going to be forced to build now, but unfortunately, MKB is not exactly an Abyssal Blade or a Basher, so it does have its limitations.
He doesn't want to rely on the Monkey King bar, like to have. He doesn't want to rely on the side device from the OD.
OD, exactly. Yeah, I think he really wanted a Basher naturally, but at this point he has to get the MKB. Otherwise, I don't think he can kill the Luna.
Yeah, no real choice in the matter. But that also means he's only got one other slot before he gets maxed out.
Yep.
And Avos just steals the top tier 2 tower, or attempts it, kills off the creep wave first.
There is a TC here in between 5 Navi heroes. If TC's not careful, and he is, graciously enough, then he would have gotten caught out, and that would have been a double death.
Gotta be careful when you say that for all the old Warcraft 3 boys, where it is Tauren Chieftain.
Oh, that's just a complication. It's ET now, boys. Elder Titan. What a sick name that is.
As opposed to the Tauren Chieftain. Yeah.
Actually, both names are pretty neat. I think the only thing that Valve has done that's not exactly too good is the neutral.
Trouble for him. Familiar drop. They drop down once. There's a secondary drop as well. But actually, no, he did them both at the same time. So Kuro, out against one, charges off. TC comes in as well. They do get the kill. Fluff and stuff. Next up, there is no follow-up to this whatsoever. Not legit, at least. Prophecy being in, and Dendy, yeah, he overcommits right now, and he'll get destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Dendy. I'm not sure what that was, but that's the reason I'm kind of just going wow is because that is so big. The OD being out of line here means 2 heroes instead of 1, and that's their base defense being gone right now. At this point, I feel like Hovost should just rotate bottom and just wait for a TP or something, but he doesn't even have a TP, so he has to sit in base. That. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, we'll put that one on the question pile. But right now, Liquid know what they've got. OD still got buyback available for this fight. ET respawns in 8 seconds time too, and TC, a lot of damage being taken by him. Already had to force out that BKB of his, and doing it before the Aegis Maul is triggered. Puppy being focused down by Koifa. Orchid, the mech's already done its job for him, keeping him alive, while Funnick also trying to hide up inside his own trees. A little bit further out of base, so Vorse is jumping around the rear end of them. Yeah, they actually force them back out again.
Yeah, that was actually so smart by Hovost. Do you know what happened? Like, basically, the creep wave wasn't there, so Liquid were fighting through backdoor protection the entire time. And Hovost, what he did with the rear end, being at the rear end there, is he cut the creep wave so he can just drag it away, while forcing the attention of Liquid's heroes as well, because Liquid no longer had disables after what they had committed prior to. So that was really brilliant. That saved them their tier 3 tower and possibly their Axis. A really flawless reaction to the situation they were given. And Hovost now getting a bit aggressive. He's next to the Luna as well as the Prophet. This might be his death.
It will be, because that's going to be both Orchid as well as the Hex. Now the Mana Star will pop, and he turns around. There's going to be a follow-up stun from Bulba with a blink into TP. Blink into Impale stun.
He doesn't have buyback, Toby. He's a level 24 hero with 96 seconds on the timer at the start. Koifa just picked up an MKB. He does not have buyback. And
they're going to gank up on Kuro. Sprout gave him the vision, but he couldn't get the Hex or the Orchid off fast enough. You're right, because he bought the full Butterfly. He's broke. He's flat broke. I say flat broke at 1,300 for an Endy Mage. It's flat broke. But 200 gold away. That's... Defense time again. And Dendy's not in position for this. He's going to TP back with Puppey, and I think maybe Puppey's just going to send him back anyway.
Honestly, I'm not even sure what his presence would do at this point. Once again, he doesn't have the BKB, so anything that he gets caught in, he will die.
So you just have it as a shark room and then just force the bottom lane instead?
Yeah, I think this is the wise decision. This is all they can do. They realize, NaVi realize that they can't stop this push at this point. So they're going to have to throw away Raxes for sure. Whether it's going to be 2 or not is the big question on my mind. Because if it's 2 Raxes, even an Animage might have a hard time coming up against such a farmed Luna. And this is a really, really farmed Luna sitting at 4k in the bank now. So looks like Liquid, they realize the situation. They want to go for 2.
Yeah, they do. TC, he's still got this Aegis and wants it to trigger. How long we got left in that little sucker? It's just over a minute left on it. So yeah, keep pushing until he dies, basically. Let that middle lane pressure in. But he's a little bit concerned about his own teammates because Funnick looking for a Timber Chain line. He's still got that Rod of Atos, in fact, off cooldown in 1 second time. And TC is going to turn for this one. He's got BKB available. And now Visage. Rod of Atos down. ET ulti. Waited sexy. Going to get snapped back in from that one. Timber Chain off while the Eclipse goes off from TC. The Hand of God being used, trying to keep the rest of NaVi alive. Puppey, he's also used the mech for this one. And Kuro finally gets his damage back again, but with a Blade Mail up on Flop and stuff. And the Urn Charge ticking out Kuro. Quick jump in by Koifa, already taking that 1 kill. They find TC, already drops the ulti, hits on Bulba as well, who came in just a little bit too close towards that one. And Funnick thinks he can get the kill on Bulba before he can get TC. In fact, he'll let Animage take care of TC. Gonna burn a little bit more of that mana off of Vorst. He does have the Mana Void level 3. The biggest problem, though, is he can't get in close enough.
And meanwhile, at the base, Toby, Prophet pushing down the tier 4s alone.
You crazy, crazy Koifa. Short range charge bash. There's already Chen sending teammates back. It's OD who goes back. But Avorst wants kills and kind of feels like he needs kills for this. But with the tier 4 towers down, the dust being popped off, they cannot find the Nature's Prophet. And he's out. He got away with the tier 4 towers. That makes the possibility of a straight up backdoor here from Liquid in the later portion of this game.
Yeah, and the mid being down is going to just spell so much disaster for NaVi because as we know with late game Prophets, Toby, you called it on the stream last game, just how one set of racks is down and a really farm Prophet. That is not something that's very easy to come back from, especially on the Dire side because they can just rosh while all the pressure is coming in from the lanes and Prophet just provides all of those functions in the late game. He's got a Maelstrom now. He's probably going to be building into the Mjolnir soon, and that just means that he's a full-on glass cannon Prophet. He is going to do whopping 400 plus damage per right click in time. This is ridiculous. Koifa is actually carrying Liquid right now. His damage is way too much for them to deal with. Even Dendy with the OD at the mid lane. You'd think OD is normally good against the Prophet without BKB, but the story is otherwise this game.
Well, Avorst. That's the sound I want. Avorst gonna move up towards the top. They see Funnick off on the side here. And maybe blink into the sun. Couldn't get him in time. And now Bulba, he's overcommitted himself here. Spy Carab is going to slow down at least Avorst, especially with the double familiar stuns. The ET ulti, rather hopeful in its casting as well. The ball charge has been going on from Bulba, so at least he's back up to mana, and that mana void isn't risking him up, making as much of a risk as it could have been. But Avorst right behind Fluffer stuff, and they take care of the SB. Bulba
and in the
still
meanwhile,
here.
bottom lane.
Is it happening again? Koifa pushing it out.
Ooh, I think Koifa could have played that better, actually. He should have been able to secure the kill with a Sprout, but he decided to hold off to it, and Dendy was able to survive with Puppey's Chen heal, as well as force staffing away from the distance. But yeah, if he sprouted the target in place, then he would have been able to just keep right-clicking in vision.
Funnick, trouble. TC is going to get the ulti up, but Avorst is doing a lot of damage here. TC's BKB saves him, or he casts the Mana Void on TC. What the? No, that wasn't the plan. Avorst now a Piglet. And he's basically by himself here. He's going back in to try and finish off the job on TC. And Kuro comes in with these extra damage, dishing it out. But he loses his own life for that one as well. Animage buys back instantly to push out that middle lane again. But people throwing away their lives for this. The Satanic was almost fully finished up as well for Luna before that. And she does not want to buy back because of that.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering what TC had in mind. He bought the Demon Edge, and it looks like he wanted to go for the MKB, but now he's changed his thought, thinking that maybe he needs the Satanic to stay alive and fight. But either way, a real bloodbath of a fight there in between the Dire Creep Camp 5 and 4, and the Regen Rune staying alive on top of that. Maybe somebody could have gotten this in aftermath of the battle, but looks like everybody's rotated out. So,
well, Puppy, you're in trouble. Bulba's found him already.
oh, he is so dead.
Right inside the jungle, 4-star,
Oh,
and the
Bulba?
sun's too far away. He didn't blink first. Fluff will charge himself in. Prophet will come in as well, giving him the hex.
That was a close one. He actually misclicked first time. That's
It
what
might be a
happened
little bit closer because Horse is now pushing the tier 3 tower in mid. Fortification will come up. Way Too Sexy can't hold this by himself, and the rest of Liquid, they're out of position. Like, Fluff and stuff has no TP. He can't charge yet. And they're focusing on Way Too Sexy as well as Bulba. The stomps to go off, and Way Too Sexy locked long enough. He's able to pick off a Meg. Not enough orb damage. That ET ulti snaps back in again, but the OD ulti is enough to get the kill out on the Visage. They still haven't taken care of the racks. Fluff 4-staffed up into the fight. There's mana burn on Dendi. He's very, very low on life, walking away with that gem. Stun from Bulba, able to connect. And Funnick's still in the middle of this engagement. There's so many players from Liquid also here. Kuro returns to the engagement too, and Funnick, he's tanking it all up. He's finding trees somehow inside this Liquid base to deal Timber Sword damage. Now he will grab the gem, will chain himself away to safety. Oh, will he? TC's in close, and the Force is really thinking about jumping in on that. But they've also going to be worried about their top because Koifa, yeah, he's coming in for it. He wants to keep this creep wave in so he can just snipe out the tower. Look at that attack damage with the Mjolnir up on him. He attacks hard, he attacks fast. And he forces the TPs back.
Ooh, and they're pinging out Havos, who has just picked up the regen rune right on top of them.
No, they got no follow-up. They can't get close enough to him.
No. Wow. What a close battle that was. I thought TC not buying back was going to cost them that fight, but Liquid, with the buyback on the Visage as well, one of their hero was able to keep their Raxes up and alive. So now they seek the next objective, the Aegis with Cheese, and this might be their deal breaker.
So there's your chat trivia. Along with Clockwork, Bulba has 10 more wins on another hero. Which one is it? I missed the end of it. I was reading through it.
That's a hard one. Clockwork is the only hero I know he can play.
Oh! See, I'll go with Darkseer. I'll go with
Darkseer?
back with his old offlane role, the Darkseer. The
Well,
only
I
other
wanted to
thing
say
which I
Prophet.
may say is actually Tinker for Bulba.
Oh, yeah. It would be Tinker. It has to be Tinker, right? What else could it be?
I'd say Tinker or Darkseer.
It's got to be Tinker. I was going to say Prophet, but there's an
Bulba's
Admiral
found
Wood.
another opening. He's got Puppy. Troll, gonna turn around. Oh,
Ooh.
Puppy again with a 4-staff. That's the second time now he's juked out Bulba. And Horse comes in. Spy Carapace. See the first hit. Burns away so much of his mana. Puppy can't even get the Hand of God off in time. Now the BKB up from TC. They find Horse outside of the base. Horse who thought it was a great opportunity for a kill. The ET ulti just came way too late as well. It's just because of the timing of that one. And Liquid, they're going to push in and take GG here.
Yeah, that was an unexpected outcome to this game, but Havos as well as Puppy both getting picked out. They don't have the towers or the heroes to defend off this push anymore, and Liquid deciding to push the bottom Raxes, but they can really just go for the throne at this point, and it looks like TC knows what's up.
There's the charge in. Fluff and stuff, just ulting himself around this one. Kuro, the last one really standing in the middle of this. Denny's already used his ulti, and now he's a Piglet, and he's been focused down, and that is GG. We're going to have it locked up at 1 apiece here between Liquid and NaVi and go to a final game decider, which will be coming up next. And booyah! I'm right on the trivia.
Oh, Toby, you really are a genius. But Liquid, man, it was just a really back and forth fight throughout the entire game. I really thought at one point NaVi were able to secure it, and then the next time with another fight, I thought Liquid were able to secure it. But after 4 Aegis and Cheese coming into the game, Koifa coming in with the damage and all that superior farm, as well as Bulba with 25 assists on his Nyx Assassin. Just both teams doing a lot of work, but I gotta say, man, Liquid, their supports and their rotations really sealed the deal a lot and gave a lot of space for TC and Koifa to do the heavy lifting later on.
All right, people, so stay tuned. We'll be back here in a couple of moments' time with NaVi vs. Liquid game number 3. We'll see you shortly.